Hi, everybody. This is Silvio Canto in Dallas, Texas on Friday, December the 7th, and welcome to our video commentary. Well, as you probably know, the situation in Paris, France, or France in general, has become very, very difficult for the Macron administration. There were serious marches days ago, and now they're expecting a huge march on Saturday, December the 8th. And in fact, the government is taking it very seriously. They're putting 89,000 security people on the streets. I mean, that has to be one of the largest deployments of security people, officers, army, I assume police, everybody all together. And they're putting that many people on the streets, of course, because they fear violence and they fear property damage as well. I mean, I'm sure there'll be quite a few cars burning this weekend in France, and especially in Paris. And this is all has to do, of course, with this carbon tax, this tax increase on gasoline that the Macron administration decided to impose on the French people. And the French people are saying, no, we just cannot afford any more taxes. I mean, we're already taxed to death. You know, we're already paying a huge amount of our salaries in taxes. And the Macron administration, they've pulled back a little bit because they realize how unpopular it is, but the people are obviously very angry about the decision. Anyway, this is coming at a very interesting time because, you know, there's a new report that came out. You may remember the Paris Climate Change Accords. I was opposed to the Paris Climate Change Accords for two reasons. The first one was constitutional. President Obama did not have the authority to engage the United States in an agreement like that. Only the Senate can ratify a treaty. And what President Obama should have done is go to Paris, sign it, and then bring it back to the U.S. Senate and say, look, I'm submitting this for ratification. Give me the okay, yes or no. He never did that, of course. He didn't do that with the Iran nuclear deal either. But that's another topic. But the point is that the United States was criticized a great deal by many countries because President Trump pulled out, pulled the United States out of the agreement. And now it turns out that none of the countries that are participating in this agreement or who signed on to the agreement are meeting the goals that they had set for themselves. And that was the second reason why I didn't want the United States participating in this, because the agreement had no enforcement mechanism. It doesn't make any sense to sign an agreement that doesn't have an enforcement mechanism. It's like, for example, if you rent a piece of property, an apartment, let's say, or a house to somebody, but you have no way in the lease or in the agreement that you have with this person to sue them or go after them if they don't pay the rent. I mean, what kind of an agreement is that? And that is, in essence, what the Paris Climate Change Accord is. It's just simply an agreement of wishful thinking, nothing that has any enforcement mechanism. But it turns out that they're not meeting the goals. Most of the countries who signed on to this agreement are not meeting their goals. And so what you have, again, is just a letter of good intentions, but not much more than that. Look, I want to do something about climate change also. But I think that what many of these European governments and many world leaders want to do, and this is certainly what President Obama wanted to do, was to make government bigger and somehow pretend that by increasing taxes or making government bigger, that was going to help climate change. Not at all, not at all. The solution to climate change or to the environment is in the private sector, encouraging companies and private individuals and investors and so on to invest in alternative energies and to bring about alternative energies that way. Now that's happening. A lot of companies, a lot of people are working on that, but it's not going to happen overnight. And increasing taxes on gasoline, as we're seeing in France, is not a very good idea either. So not a good decision, I should say, by the government of France over the last couple of weeks. Thank you for watching. We have all of these on YouTube, on Twitter, on my blog. And if December 7th is your birthday, happy birthday. Bye-bye, everybody.